Hello to everyone. I'm Dr. Rachna. Today discussing about the presentation skills. See, in today's scenario, it is very pertinent to note that how to present yourself, how to make your image, and how to make a long-lasting image into the mind of the audience. So, presentation skills is a very important feature that how to give effective presentation by paying attention all those things which can keep your audience bind throughout the presentation. So certain dynamics and certain nuances of presentation I'm discussing today. As we can see that effective presentation skills, delivering impactful presentations and its essentials. So how to, first of all, the question comes how to start your presentation. Abruptly, all of a sudden, you cannot just start speaking about the topic. Certainly, you have to set a pitch of what you are going to discuss. And the best way to start any presentation is maybe connecting the dots, how you have reached to the place, or maybe telling some story, because people these days really love to listen certain stories. So telling certain some personal experiences or interacting to the audience just to catch their attention, because people really like to know about the person they are listening to. So telling some anecdotes related with the topic, maybe certain, you can cut a humor, you can cut a joke which can really fetch the attention of the audience. That can be a perfect start for your presentation. And certainly the skill which is required is to connect between what you are sharing and the topic of presentation. Briefly introduce the topic, then explain the relevance of your topic. If you can successfully make them understand the topic's content, that how it is related with the present scenario, how it is going to be useful for them or beneficial for them. If we can do this thing effectively in the beginning, then certainly we can catch the attention, because throughout the presentation the purpose of the presenter should be to retain the attention of the audience, so that there are no barriers in the process of communication. Use a compelling image related to presentation. People love to watch certain images instead of lot of content written. So if certain image related with the presentation, if you can bring it to the monitor, that will be great. So images, it is based on certain study also. It is said that what we see as a picture, that goes in a very long lasting memory. So using picture, though I have not used in my presentation, but using picture can certainly get a very impactful, or can emphasize the very topic of your presentation. Very important thing is know the audience to whom you are going to address. Who are your targeted audience, their race, their some of the time I share that gender is very important, that you are dealing with what mix of audience, whether they are females, whether they are males, corporate employees of what age, what place, demographics. Knowing the demographics of the place is very important, because through demographics you can try to connect with the audience. I'm not becoming gender specific, rather I'm saying that if you are dealing with the women issues, if you then you need to be little bit more sensitive, more softer in handling the issues. So, and if it is to the youngsters, if you are dealing with the youngsters, you need to be very enthusiastic and vibrant in the approach of delivering the content. So understanding the interest of the audience, their age, their intellectual property, their understanding, their interests can create really a very positive point in your presentation. Highlight the essentials of your content, what you are presenting. Don't be too long, be precise, short, to the point, and very crisp in presenting it. Keep minimum data into the slides so that the content can be explicitly explained through through, that can be explained clearly, but not through everything is mentioned in the slide. With some yes, very important thing is case studies, if you can correlate, because discussing certain, as I told in the beginning, that personal interventions can bring some appealing some grace to the presentation. Similarly, अगर हम किसी चीज से, if we can correlate with certain case studies, we can bring to the discussion, and what are its implication, how it has resulted, how the tragedy or the crisis has been controlled in the end. That can pave a way for the audience interaction. Means in any way the presenter's purpose is to create a interaction between the audience and the presenter. It must be a two-way communication. At least through their noddings we must understand that yes, they are taking interest. The moment we see that they are declining, not interested, least interested in listening to you, just diverge onto the discussion which can really fetch their attention back. See, because the attention span is very short. People are getting so quickly all the information available on net. We are surfing the reels, switching on to another thing, and lot many other things. So people really are not very much focused for a longer period of time. So whole exercise should be that your audience are throughout the presentation are paying attention to the presenter. अब ये आपकी wisdom है how you are keeping it interactive. Raise questions, create stories as per the interest of the audience. Maybe switch on, move on to the next slide. Don't ponder over one issue for a longer period of time. So these visuals, content delivery matters quite a lot. Your presentation must be well structured, well developed, very much coherence should be observed throughout the presentation. Must be simple, very explicitly indicating the purpose of your presentation. So clear structure is the hallmark of your presentation. Keep the content engaging, mention storytelling, data, example, pictographs. That these are always very catchy rather than writing too much content onto the slide. Use effective visual aids. These are certain things. Case study, I have already told that present a real life case study of an effective presentation that can be very beneficial for the audience. Analyze what made it successful, what are the implications in the end. Rehearse your content well in advance. If you can talk about your presentation, if you can speak by reading the slide, or maybe by reading the content, by seeing the content, if you can deliver for 1 hour, then only you should ensure that yes, without seeing into the slides, without reading into the paper, you can keep your audience engaged at least for 10 minutes. सो दिस इज रिहर्सल का कोई आउटकम कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं है. वी नीड टू कीप इट रिहर्स. वेल रिहर्स presentation is always appreciated and admired, but when you have rehearsed, also do rehearse that when you are delivering the content, it must be a spontaneous flow of what you have prepared, not like you have crammed the content and just omitting it. So these are certain tips for the rehearsal. Role of body language is very very important. Suppose आपने presentation के time में, if you are hiding the entire yourself before beside the podium, then definitely you are creating a hindrance in with the receiver. So hiding in any way, suppose you are crossed arms or keeping hands in front of you, this is a kind of a barrier which is not openly inviting your audience. So your gestures must be open, inviting, not hiding behind these shields. It should not be like compact one, rather the open one and inviting one. Body language, keep your body erect, not slight couched on some time, leaning at just one leg, or maybe standing sluggishly, not making a proper eye contact with the audience. So these are certain things. Not moving very fast when you are giving the presentation. Moving very fast can keep the audience distracted. That also speaks about the nervousness. So keeping them engaged, you can move personally, go to certain place, also observing the proxemics of the place. Then we can go nearer to the listeners, just to create a kind of a vibration, a kind of a connect with the audience. If you are asking question to somebody for 30 seconds at least, you can give a pause to the person, as if you are listening. And do listen, not as if you are listening, but do listen carefully if somebody is asking the question. So these are certain things which will actually, the entire purpose of the presentation is to establish a strong connect between audience and the presenter. Significance of voice modulation. Of course, if the presentation you are giving on a very monotonous pace throughout the presentation, that will keep your audience distracted. As I told, that focus span these days is going substantially down. So certain pauses, voice modulation, sometimes raising the pitch, raising the eyebrows, delivering the content effectively, these are certain dynamics by introducing which, by raising the pitch or sometimes going down, can really create interest among the audience. As I told in the beginning, eye contact is very important. Here it is mentioned. Above everything, dressing sense is again a very important um, facet, that what you are wearing. Suppose you are wearing high heels and not very comfortable in walking and moving from pole to pole, so avoid wearing something which in which you are not comfortable. It should look, you should look confident, comfortable, and connecting with the audience. If it is too cold and not, you are not wearing shawl or maybe some clothing to cover yourself or to protect yourself, that will again give a very artificial look to the person. So dressing as per the occasion, as per the audience temperature, as per the venue is very very important. Too much colorful, too much vibrance, I feel should be avoided. So if it is, and of course if it is a technical presentation, must be very decently, a person must be very decently dressed in pastel shades, or maybe the business suits will appropriately suit to the presenter. Explain how to handle questions effectively is very important. Yes. First of all, inviting questions. If you think that my audience are getting distracted, or they are not interested into listening the slide, then keep asking questions. Raise certain question which can create interest. And when raising question, answer it very effectively. If you don't know the answer, try to again discuss it. Keep the interaction on, discuss it with the audience, try and come up with the very open and very clear self, that it is a very new opening for to you, because we are always in a phase of learning. We are all learners, nobody is perfect in this world. So sometimes appreciating the question and as well as the answer some of the time will show your, simple attitude, that you are also the part of the audience. Try to be the part of the audience, not like a very distinguished esteemed dignitaries who is very, stubborn and not ready to listen to anybody. So this is the way how you can answer effectively. Question answer session is very important. Actually, this is the segment which your audience in the beginning have their in their mind, that these are the question I wanted to ask. Let me see how he is answering to these questions. So be focused, listen to the question carefully, answer it very selectively and satisfactorily. If need be, correlate it with the current scenario, or maybe with certain examples that will make more impact, and that will give a very concrete validity to your answer. But before, I think this slide should have come in the beginning. Follow some relaxation techniques, because once you are presenting your audience, take a pause. Don't in a hustle, in a very hurriedly don't enter into the conference hall where you are presenting. Take a pause, take a sip of water. Drinking water, sipping water is an excellent remedy. Cool down yourself, let there be a hold on your breath. And because once you are comfortable, then only you can make your audience comfortable. Make them sit very comfortably, as if you are not dealing with some rocket science or something. By adopting certain strategies or these things, definitely even the most difficult content can be very simplistically delivered to the audience. So managing nervousness and stage fright, yes, this is a very important thing. Public dealing may generally people feel very much cautious, nervous, that how to deal with the audience. So my take on this thing is just maintain a imaginary line above the heads of the audience, because straight if you look into the eyes of the listener, you might feel lacking in your confidence. It can shake for a little, for a just for momentarily you might feel lacking. But the moment you make a imaginary line just above the head of the audience and moving there very swiftly, and then substantially coming down and looking into the eyes, will ease out the nervousness, will make you comfortable interacting with the audience. So these are certain tips: taking a deep breath, and just counting on numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now everything is all right. You can start with the presentation. Start with a very cheerful gesture, start with some very very vibrant opening, so that it is always inviting. Certain do's and don'ts: don't be offended. Means very critical comments can come in the end. Be ready, face them with a smile on your face. Or throughout the presentation, be very calm, always very cool, calm, calculated, and composed, so that you are keeping your audience comfortable. Things can come, things might happen which may arouse your anger, but this is how you are handling those skills. So strict dose is be appreciative even for the criticism raised from the audience, because sometimes it is said that when we get the criticism, actually we are receiving our feedback to work upon. So very important thing is ki don't lose your temper, stay calm, stay composed, have a pleasant smile, have confidence what you have prepared is sufficiently enough. If need be, skip the slides. If you think that it is already known to the audience, just skip it. But stay focused for what you are willing. Pay attention to the outcome, that what is actually the end result. You need to sell that very point in the throughout the presentation. And in the end, the presenter must recapitulate the takeaways of the entire presentation. What are the takeaways of the entire thing, just for memorizing, and from the beginning till the end what you have covered, just in a very capsule format. You can brush up the things, encourage the audience to apply what they have learned, congratulate them for means appreciate them for listening you so patiently, invite the audience for the questions. Don't in the end forget to express your gratitude, extend your gratitudes and thank you note to the audience for being so patient throughout the journey. That will create a kind of a bonding between the audience and the presenter. Try to mingle with them, take a picture maybe if needed with the audience, try to mingle with them, mention your email id, mention your contact number, so that later on, means creating a personal touch with the audience will give you a long lasting relationship. And very important thing in the end, don't forget to mention the references from where you have cited the content for your presentation. Mentioning those references, indexing them is very very important in the slide. So provide, and in the end, give your contact information and everything. Now with these certain tips, I hope that you will be an effective presenter. Wish you a great journey ahead. Thanks for now.